Issues, DaRon Bland's glorious return, and some scoops from Chill. Welcome to today's Cowboys DLLS podcast, which starts meow. All right, everybody, welcome into the Cowboys DLLS podcast. It is good to see you. Welcome, welcome. We're going to party. We're getting ready for Cowboys and Lions today. And I teased I'm about tired of my coworkers. You'll find out why throughout the show. About exhausted of some of the takes that I've been hearing in the pre-show. That's fine. We'll get to them as we work our way through. So welcome in. Please hit like and subscribe while you're here. And also know that if you're not watching on YouTube, that what you need to do is listen in audio formats later. Wherever you get your podcast, you can get this show, DLLS Cowboys. I am a person named Jeff. Next to me is former Cowboys wide receiver and one of my favorite people, Jesse Holley.
Oh, Jesse Holley went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
Only guy that knows how to beat the 49ers. This one.
My God.
That's a good point. If you carry the egg basket, do not dance.
What does that mean?
Nothing.
We got to stop responding and worrying about what he said. Just next to him, not one of my favorite people, but he's working his way up the ranks. And I respect him a lot.
We've grown to like you.
Yeah, we're really growing
Speak for
up.
yourself. Speak for yourself.
Say hello to the greatest beat writer in Cowboys history, Clarence Hill.
If you want to win, put Chill in.
I can't believe you didn't play the pop one.
We didn't do it.
Haters gonna hurt, but after my weekend in Pittsburgh, when the game ended at 12:59 and I was right until 4 in the morning, if you don't lay down, you can't rest.
Ooh,
Is that
okay.
a proverb?
Yes, my dad said, if you don't lay down, you can't rest.
Okay.
Lay down.
Next to Clarence is our analyst, X's and O's queen, the great Aisha Morrison.
That's me. Yeah, he got it. He got it.
We start with news.
You know what's? Can I say this? No,
Damn it.
I want to just say this.
I was already tired of y'all.
Nah, it's all good. But we got to be careful. I realized this last week. We got to be careful when we go 2-eye, which way we 2-eye. Because if you 2-eye this way,
Go out
it looks weird than when you 2-eye this way.
this way.
For those of the 45, 40 plus, and had to go to the doctor, when you 2-eye this way, you know what I'm talking about.
No
When you-
doctor is using two.
Well,
What are we doing
if you
here?
2-eye this way instead of 2-eye this
Family
way,
show.
it can go a little bit wrong.
Family
Oh,
show.
look, Jacob
Sorry.
just made breakfast. So perfect timing to
Yes.
start the podcast, everyone. And I'm
Absolutely.
sure that really helped with your meal.
Have you
Jeez.
got your prostate checked?
You need to.
Yes or no?
It's very
Of
healthy
course.
too. We
I mean,
encourage
Would
men
you like
to
it?
do
What are
that.
we doing here?
I'm just asking.
Have you
I'm
gotten
just-
yours checked? Ain't you almost 40?
I'm 40.
It's time. You're a black
40
man.
45, right?
You're a
I thought
black
it was
man. You need
45.
to get down. It was not
No
40.
problem. Let's
Jesse,
go.
Yeah, you're
you're
40. You're a
40.
black man. You need to get your
Take the
heart
surprise out
chest.
your voice.
You
Let's
need-
do that. Let's take the
come on.
surprise
You-
out
we-
your voice.
Football.
We're in the same boat now.
No, we're not in the same boat, my
You're
boy.
over 40, baby.
Brother, your boat is
You
way
over
out
40
there.
and get your prostate
Your
checked.
boat
Get
is
some-
You over 40,
way
you
out
get your,
there.
you
Get
get your
some
prostate
con-
checked.
No, we're not in the same boat.
And you-
Like literally, we're not in the same boat.
Two
Pull it
things.
together.
Two things, Aisha. One,
Pull it together, Brody.
rule number one of broadcast is to not talk over each other. So while they are way off track and not talking Cowboys football, I just have to let it go.
Oh,
And
come back.
then we'll bring it back around. We'll start the show with news. And we have some good news, Cowboy fans. It sounds like, and Clarence, you can take me through what everybody's telling you and what you're hearing about it, but it sounds like the Cowboys are going to get an all-pro cornerback back this week.
Yeah, and with the Cowboys, it always comes with drama. So, yes, DaRon Bland, all-pro cornerback, set NFL record for interception return for touchdowns last week, who was injured in training camp and missed the first 5 games. He started his practice window on Wednesday, and looks like he's going to play this week. There are plans to play him this week, and it couldn't come at a more opportune time considering the Detroit Lions offense and the receivers they're going up against. But in true Cowboys fashion, no news can come without drama.
Did you start it?
No.
Probably.
So Mike McCarthy, we ask him on Monday. We've been asking every week about the players. He doesn't want to necessarily give up information about who's playing and injuries and stuff like that. But Stephen Jones went and told a bunch of sponsors on Tuesday that Bland was going to play. Okay. And so Cowboys.com was there, and they said, Stephen Jones said Bland's going to play. And so we asked Mike McCarthy about that on Wednesday, and he was like, can he just practice? Why do we have to talk about this? Why do we have to tell everybody what's going to happen? Can we just get him on the practice? And the good news, it wasn't Jerry. It wasn't Jerry, because Jerry did not. We asked Jerry about it too. He did not break the news. It was Stephen who did this.
Stephen, at the end of the day, Jones.
It was Stephen who did this. So, and I know my first initial reaction when I heard, well, he's going to play on a limited basis. I'm like, with all the injuries you got, why would you have a guy who's not ready to go and play him on a part-time basis? Because you need guys who are full, because you got to bring guys up. The roster spots are so precious. Game day roster spots are so precious. Why would you bring him up? The good news is, just talking to people, they need all hands on deck against this Detroit offense. And the fact that he practiced full, he wasn't limited in practice, that's good. That means he's good enough to go. I don't think they would put him out there if he wasn't ready to go. Maybe it's a conditioning thing that they're going to have him on a limited basis. But you need your best defensive backs. You need your best cornerbacks out there to handle this receiving corps.
That was my only thought when I heard maybe it's 20, 25 snaps or whatever. My first thought was, well, when you're ready to play, you're ready to play. And I bet you if he plays 25 snaps and then it's 3rd and 7 and you're late in the third quarter and you're up by 3, I bet you DaRon Bland is going to keep playing.
Right.
So it's probably just we don't expect that he could play a whole game right now because he's had a bum foot and his conditioning's probably iffy. But I bet if you need him, I bet he'll play plenty.
Yeah, and in regards to practice yesterday, I did want to make sure, though, was it a walkthrough? Was it? It sounded like it was a lighter practice.
It was a lighter practice. It wasn't a full practice, but they generally, even if it's a walkthrough, they will tell you if a guy's not ready to go. They will list him as limited.
Tracking.
Yeah, they do a good job of. They have to, from the league standpoint, from the gambling standpoint. You just can't lie about what a guy. You're not supposed to, even though the 49ers did that earlier this year.
Don't make a scene.
But
Patriots used to do it a lot.
Yeah, but so you have to give a good estimate of whether you thought he could practice full or whatever else, and they have to feel good about him to list him as full.
Okay.
Because there were guys that didn't practice at all. They listed with DMPs, and there were guys that were listed as limited. They listed him as full. So let's take him at their word for it. And that's good news.
And we'll preview, as we go throughout today's show, we'll preview Cowboys offense against Lions defense, Cowboys defense against Lions offense, all the things. We're going to get ready for Detroit today. And I do think if you get into the right scenario with just the personnel on this team and how certain people have played all year and the number of weapons that you're playing against Detroit, you get third in the right amount of yardage, I'll put a bunch of corners out there.
Yeah,
I'll put 4 of them guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go full on corner on Sam Laporta and 3 more corners. You're going to need some corners.
No, you are. And one other thing is
him.
Tyler Guyton also practiced full. And he should be good to go. You might be concerned about where he was after being injured in the Steelers game. He's good to go. The big question I have for you guys, I don't know if you guys discussed it this week because I was out on Tuesday. I was hanging out with Jared Jones. Is there any thought that
What do you mean hanging out with Jared?
I know.
Well, he had a press conference. You doing the Motor Speedway or the Grand Prix of Arlington.
Okay, so you were where he was asking him questions.
Yeah, asking him questions. Grand Prix of Arlington. Hanging out. We hung out a little bit. We got off to the side because I didn't ask him any Grand Prix questions. It's funny.
You didn't have any Grand Prix questions ready?
So they did this big podium thing afterwards, and they brought him to the podium with the backdrop, and so all the TV cameras could get questions in. So us beat writers, historically, we go to these events, whether it's the Grand Prix or any type of other events to have to ask football questions.
Yeah.
We don't give a damn about the Grand Prix or Arlington. It's football.
Some people can.
As a football reporter,
I'm just saying
we don't give a damn, okay? We're not
care.
writing about that. DLS Cowboys. I'm not writing about the Grand Prix or Arlington.
Did Jerry know the sponsors? Because I still am not over when he said blockchain com.
Stop.
So
What's the
anyway,
question?
so they have him at the podium, and then so a couple people ask questions, and he turns to me, "You got something?" I said, "No, Jerry, I got you when you walk off." We're gonna walk off from here, then we're gonna talk football. We're gonna get away from the camera.
What's the question?
Yeah, you had a question for us, but we're all ADHD, so we.
Yes, I know. I get the question I have
You
for
want
you
half
guys.
an Adderall?
The question I need. The question I have for you guys is I don't know if you thought about this, but
Popping
is this
like-
offensive line better? Was it better without Tyler Guyton?
Man, I've been fighting so many people on the internet.
I don't
So
want to
go-
make
I
it
just asked a
seem.
question. I just want to
The
ask a
answer,
question.
here's the answer.
No,
the answer
seriously.
to it is, and this is the right answer, and y'all can fight me if you want to, and I don't even care. The answer is yes, they played better when Tyler Guyton went out, right after Herbig got hurt.
Yeah.
Because when Tyler Smith went to tackle, Herbig gave him the business immediately, and then he got hurt. Then they ran out of pass rushers, and you played better. And I think if you go watch play for play, it's hard for somebody to tell me you want TJ Bass on the field.
Okay, I'm just asking.
So I would say they played
It
better.
wasn't bad when they did some duo and stuff.
No, he did good with some duo.
He wasn't
showed
bad.
some
It's
nastiness,
it's
too.
the same.
He
It's a,
cheap shotted two. That's not a cheap shot. It's playing offensive line. But yes, he laid
Yeah,
two people out as
when
the
they
second man
did
on
that
the
spin,
scene.
yeah.
And those were
That
fun.
don't make you a good football player. If a
Listen.
guy's engaged and you go and pop him, like that doesn't tell me anything about you as a football player.
I
Listen,
would
that's
say-
why I asked the question, because there are a lot of people who you look the way the offense, because they moved well in the second half, and certainly they moved the ball. And let's be honest, Guyton has not played well for much of the year.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who thought that Tyler Smith would be the better left tackle.
Oh, he would be. He would be. But I just think that you would be getting infinitely worse at left guard.
You would just create another
what
hole.
What is your trade-off?
You just create,
Okay,
you just create another hole. You would get a better player at left tackle, but you wouldn't get a premier left tackle.
Right.
And then you just take my hole from being left tackle. Now my hole becomes left guard.
well, I
He's
mean,
closer to Dak.
do you think? But even so, just because of what's going on or whatever, even though Guyton is healthy, it does. Well, I'm not gonna say that because that's anyway.
Oh, say what you weren't going to say.
No, I'm not gonna say
What were
it.
you not going to say?
Well, it sounds like they have practiced Tyler Smith at left tackle multiple times. In case of this, I would wonder if they were going to be looking at even not so much better, but Awesome Richards did have some good play this preseason at left guard and at left guard at training camp. If they would be looking at him as an option too, if they're going to be exploring, I'm just saying that they might be exploring some things in practice.
I would say this, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what we found out. Because as I tweeted after the game, Tyler Smith is going into his Larry Allen phase, because he can play left tackle. When Tyler Guyton got hurt in training camp, they started repping Tyler Smith at left tackle for this moment.
Yes.
He is your swing left tackle, because that tells you everything you know about what Chuma hurt and Walesko and Richards and their ability to play left tackle. If they need a left tackle, they're just going to move Tyler Smith over. He started playing that in training camp. But I'm interested, because it's funny, because these conversations, I know we not go, these conversations never die. They're all extensions of other conversations. And last week, Jesse said that the offensive line was not going to get better.
Oh, he already yelled at us about that. Now you want to yell for him?
Please.
Adam?
No.
So when we talk about Guy, you think Guy's going to get better now?
No, he doesn't.
He does.
No.
Cooper Beebe is, but
Okay,
Cooper Beebe is getting better.
I just make sure I wasn't hearing.
I'm
because
always
we were-
going to be
since-
10 toes down when I say something.
Since we were talking about whether they moved, no, leave Guyton there. So you think Guyton's going to be better now?
I'm telling you, you're going to replace. You're gonna.
Okay, I was just making sure.
You're gonna move one guy over to address a need, only to create another need.
Okay.
I mean, but I'm gonna be straight up with you. Like, we whining and crying and talking about this and everything, but there are teams that wish that they at the very least had a TJ Bass. And with TJ Bass specifically, I know that you felt like he played crappy. You can work around it. But I will say too,
I don't think there's any teams
but even in regard to TJ Bass, I disagree.
that want a TJ Bass.
I disagree.
A backup who doesn't ever play.
I disagree. He has starting time. But I will say, even in regard to TJ Bass, we saw Zach Martin get rolled up on as well. TJ Bass is your swing right guard, and he's better on the right side. Let's start there. Also, if you are going to talk about going to that package where Tyler Smith is your left tackle and TJ Bass is your left guard, what if something happens to Zach Martin or he gets rolled up under and needs to take a couple snaps out? Like, I think that's something to consider as well. If you're like, yeah, let's just move TJ Bass over there, left guard, and it's going to be okay. No, I don't.
But that happened in the game.
It messes up things. Yeah, it messes up things.
Yeah, we got
And
some
they
Brock
put Hoffman in.
Yeah,
action,
some Brock
baby.
Hoffman, but they happened in the game.
And that, and
I think there's a lot of teams in the NFL would like to have a Brock Hoffman.
just
And
having
TJ
backup
Bass.
offensive linemen that aren't going to get you killed is a blessing. That's what I'm saying.
All right, coming up next, what is going on with CeeDee Lamb and second halves? And we'll preview the Cowboys offense and the Lions defense. That is next on the Cowboys DLLS podcast.
Real thugs get down on the flow. On the flow. If you a real if you no
My
thugs
bad.
here. You don't have to be a thug kid. But if you're looking for some good flooring, boy, do I have the answer for you right there.
Wow.
Our friends at Empire Today, they got you straight. Use our promo code DLLS and get $350 off new floors. Go to EmpireToday.com. Use our promo code DLLS and get yourself straight. Carpet, wood, vinyl, all the carpets, all the woods, all the vinyls, all the everything that you want for flooring. And what I love the best, because I pay for convenience. Don't like leaving the house. Maybe a little anxiety thing. Maybe I just don't like people sometimes. But if you want new flooring, you do not want to leave the house, they got you covered. EmpireToday.com says, go on our website, take a picture of the room, load it up on there, and now you can place all these different looks into the picture, and you never have to leave the confines of your home.
Right.
So if you're looking for new flooring, head over to EmpireToday.com. Use our promo code DLLS, $350 off, EmpireToday.com.
Also, like to tell you about our friends at Sleeper, which is probably my favorite app on my phone now.
He's
I love
addicted.
clicking.
He's addicted.
I love clicking on things, and I like picking and predicting things. And what you can do with Sleeper, it's a great fantasy football platform, but don't worry about all that right now. What we're talking about is picking players, and you can do your favorite. You can do some hating if you want. Pick your least favorite players and say that they will have less than their projected stat going into the week. You can also do alternate numbers, which I discovered, and now I'm obsessed
That's your bag
with.
right there.
Well, I love
That's
moving
your bag
down.
right
yes,
there.
I think Derrick Henry will have more than 40 rushing yards. Yeah, so
Couldn't
what you can
afford it.
do is the more picks that you combine with Sleeper, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. Our promo code is DLLS Boys. You use that code, and you get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. So hit up our friends at Sleeper. Use that code. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, Cowboys. Which one was I doing in segment 2? Cowboys offense. Because, yeah, we're going to talk about the positive one. But here's the thing. They might both be positive. That's part of why I had about enough of all my coworkers today. Just talking to them before the show. Jesse and Aisha both looked at me and they said,
No.
Aiden Hutchinson
Don't
sucks.
do that.
No.
So don't
No.
worry about him.
He
That's
is
the next segment.
lying.
That's the next segment.
You're
He's not
lying.
any good.
Nope.
Nobody
Kinda
said
iffy.
that.
The Ivory LT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ain't nobody said that.
Yeah. High motor, big effort, coach on the field,
Leading the NFL in sacks.
great technique.
All characteristics of a white player in the National Football League.
Oh,
supposed to
don't
say
do
it out
that.
like that.
Lead the NFL in sacks.
You're supposed to let me hint towards those
Oh,
things.
my fault.
You didn't have to point it out.
I wasn't going to say any of that.
Ivory LT.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Cowboys offense against the Lions defense. And what I want from you in the chat right this second is who is going to score a touchdown for the Cowboys that's not named CeeDee Lamb. Thanks. Put that in the chat.
Ooh.
And we do have a CeeDee Lamb situation that we got to talk about, Jesse, because you brought this up before the show go.
Oh, not right now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, okay. All right,
Oh, yeah.
great. Awesome. The thing that I've seen and noticed with CeeDee Lamb is the disappearing act in the second half. And this is pre-fuss. This is post-fuss.
Fuss?
Yeah, you know,
when he
y'all
fusses?
don't want me to say pissy, so I got to say
Yeah,
fuss.
you're right.
So pre-fuss and
Thanks
post-fuss.
for saying it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Still said it.
CeeDee Lamb, he comes out the gate hot, right? But then as the game goes on, you see less and less of the productivity from CeeDee Lamb. Great.
What is this?
Go for it.
What are you doing?
Go ahead.
I'm raising my hand. I'm
You
waiting
got-
for you to finish.
No, you got
Oh.
it.
I'm trying to be respectful. Raise my
Yeah,
hand.
if you can keep going and we know his hand went up.
Yeah, no,
so we
I
know
want,
that
nah,
he's-
but I want him to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Clarence.
I want to say this. Commend you on your Easter speech. I love how you did that ad just off the top of your head. It's a good job.
It's pretty good.
That was really
Good
good.
today, Florian.
He
God,
did it.
$50.
Jesse,
He did a great job.
please finish your point.
Was that what you raised your hand for?
No, I couldn't get it in. I just want to let you know I really like that Easter speech. It's funny with the CeeDee Lamb thing because we're focused on CeeDee Lamb, and did that offense move up and down the field in the second half? 12 play drive.
I mean, when he
16
threw
play
his-
drive,
when he-
90-yard drive.
They also did great when he threw his fit and came out of the game the week before.
I want
Two
to.
weeks before.
I want to comment.
And
but
so
won't.
I think that there is something to the fact that teams are doing things to take CeeDee Lamb away. Certainly got off early, but in the second half, if you watch the game, they were rolling coverage. It was always a safety on the top. But the good news is they had answers. Ferguson went off. You started to see things. Certainly, your boy Tolbert. Your agenda. he showed up big time.
Your agenda.
And I think it's funny because, and one other thing is like, I'm tired of people trying to make something of CeeDee and Dak. That was whole thing at the end of the first half was invented by Collinsworth of read their lips. I'm not a lip reader. What's going on?
Oh, and CeeDee said, throw the ball up. I got you.
Yes.
Jump ball for it.
He's like, give me a chance.
But people feed on negativity, and there's this need because of Dak. There's some Dak. CeeDee doesn't like Dak. CeeDee's mad at Dak. There's nothing wrong with, first of all, if you're passionate, you're going to have words on the sideline. You should have words on the sideline. You should be competitive and talk about things. But that thing there that took on a life of its own on the internet, that CeeDee was mad at Dak and was ripping Dak, that you started by Collinsworth, that was nothing. He was saying jump ball, throw it up for. I think Dak was throwing a back shoulder. Because if you look what everybody was in the back of the end zone and CeeDee wanted, and they had Mike McCarthy did that for a goal route.
It would have been intercepted anyway.
Well, if CeeDee would have made a play on the ball, at least he'd been competitive.
Anyway.
Okay, that's fine. But I'm just saying there was a miscommunication there. But it wasn't a situation where CeeDee was mad at Dak. And
All right, now you raised your hand to stop me because you had a point to make on a ticket.
I said the point to make is they took him away. They did things to take him away.
This isn't the first time.
Other
this is what I love. I love when we get to this point right
They
here.
had other people to have answers for the test.
What I'm saying is,
Say it.
CeeDee Lamb isn't the only superstar in this league. And if you allow him to be taken out in second halves of games, you may not always have an answer. I watch other teams and other players who are as
Mark Chase
talented,
gets the ball no matter what.
who is as talented or more than CeeDee Lamb, doesn't go ghost in the second half. Let me just read you off CeeDee Lamb's second half stats. His first half stats, he has 21 catches for 353 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. Just 4 catches for 25 yards and 0 touchdowns in the second half. That's not a winning formula. With this offense already being limited as it is, and doesn't have, and yes, I'm glad that my agenda pusher, Jalen Tolbert, is finally making some plays. We haven't seen the Ferg that we all assumed that we would see with Ferg at this point in time of the season. When you're talking about now winning these tougher games against better competition, because you're getting ready to go through a gauntlet now, Detroit this week, the Niners after the bye, Atlanta, so on and so forth, the rest of your season. You have one of the toughest schedules remaining in the rest of the season. You can't have CeeDee fade away. Mm-hmm. You just can't have that happen because you're going to need for those plays to be made. And there's something to be said about, yes, I think Jalen Tolbert is a good receiver. He's a 2 at the very height of his ability. He's roughly around somewhere between 2-ish, 3 receiver in this league. So if CeeDee Lamb is if you're allowing him to be taken out of second half of games, then boy, you are setting yourself up for some real issues coming down the pike when you need some plays to be made in the second half. My only question about that is, why is that happening? And I get it because we've been around this league for hundreds of years. They rolled coverage to Randy Moss. They rolled coverage to Jerry Rice. They rolled coverages to Steve Largent. They rolled coverage. Anybody that has a number 1 receiver on their football team, coverage is going to be rolled to them.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Who was on the side though? Who was opening things up for Fred Blipkar?
Okay.
I don't know.
What?
No. I wanted to comment. I feel the same way Jesse feels. I do think that you have to look at some of the games, the situation. I think we watched the Cleveland game. They had a huge lead at that point. We all acknowledged that they kind of took their foot off the gas in the later half of that game. If I'm not mistaken, they might have done the same thing in the Giants game. Like, that's happened a couple times. But as far as, like, I mean, Chill brought it up. You brought it up. Yeah, like, they are rolling coverage to him. They are dedicating safeties over there. But listen, to your point, you still got to figure out ways to get him involved. Like, you still have to scheme him open. If people are doubling him, and of course, like, Dak will throw to him in double coverage. We saw that this game. But there are things you can do to make sure that you get the favorable matchup, which you probably should do in this game. But in regard to Dak Prescott and just how the game was played anyway, he played true progression football in the sense of, like, I'm here. Sometimes he got to his 5th read. That's what you want your quarterback to do. And I think that does play a role in kind of how the ball was distributed last week. However, you're right in regard to you still need to be able to get your playmaker involved. Like, it's beautiful that he's out there blocking and helping out for guys.
Great.
It's beautiful, sure. But he still needs to be a focal point, because if he's not a focal point, then it takes away from what the other guys are doing anyway. So you don't want teams to be like, oh, I ain't got to worry about him in the second half. But to your point, Jesse.
But I think that he is a focal point. That's why he's not getting the ball. I mean, I think that what's going to happen is once other guys start proving they can make plays, then it balances back out.
If Kamante Turpin is a problem,
no one's going to say we're not going to worry about CeeDee Lamb because that's why he's not getting the ball because they're worried about CeeDee Lamb. That's why Tolbert was open for the 50-yard reception. That's why you can get the ball down the middle of the field to Turpin because Tomlin talked about how Dak looked off. He looked off.
Oh, yeah.
And threw the ball to Turpin. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is still a factor. You know, everything they do in the passing game is predicated on teams rolling coverage and putting attention to CeeDee Lamb. It's opening things up for other guys, and it's going to come back. Those guys have to continue to prove that they can do it and be options. Then things will go back the other way. But CeeDee is a factor. Those drive, what they did in the second half the other day, CeeDee had his fingerprints all over it, although he didn't get the ball.
They also ran the ball more, too, in the second half, too, Jesse, but it's neither here nor there. They need to figure out how to get him involved.
I would just say they're right on schedule. I saw the same movie last year.
For him to be waking up.
I saw CeeDee get 4 catches.
For him to be...
And the good news, Dak is not a guy that just feeds some. I mean, he really goes through his progressions. He really throws the ball to guys that are open. He does not like, okay, I'm just going to force this ball to CeeDee.
We're about to start the thing you did last year. 7, 12, 11, 11. We're right on time.
Okay.
CeeDee didn't go to camp.
And
he didn't go to camp.
And what did he do against Detroit last year?
A whole bunch, but it's like I think it's 3 new corners. But he can do it to new people too.
It's really about the same result.
Yeah, what did he do against Detroit?
They're playing about
He had
the
over
same.
200 yards receiving against Detroit last year.
Yeah. I'm just saying, but it's brand new. The corners that he's playing against are brand new.
They still suspect.
Kim M, Jesse Holly, what's your favorite pass play to call? Dagger.
4 verts.
No.
Please.
Dagger.
Yeah.
What's Dagger?
4
Dagger.
verts.
Explain it to the people.
What Dagger is, you got somebody running down the middle of the field. You got a guy +2 outside. He's running a 16-yard speed in. Boy, you hit that thing running, and you come out the back end of that bad boy.
Get caught at the 1.
Probably.
Damn.
I'm tired.
But it's one of those plays that is always open. The dagger concept.
We need to run some good concepts.
I have a question.
You
really
do this
quick.
at the end of every segment. What's your question?
I'm so sorry.
Is your question, do we need to go to break?
No,
that your
we can go to break.
Read your question real quick. Go ahead.
My question is, somebody put it in the comments, C. Burleson, I don't think MM is using Ferg right. I was going to ask you guys, do you think that, I don't agree. I thought Ferg had, 87 yards last week? I thought he was very effective. However, do y'all think that what's going on with his McKnee is affecting, how the usage of him or even the seam routes and stuff?
His McBlocking. He has to help block. He has to stay in with those other guys.
Tater tots.
That's true.
And you put
true.
Mick on there in too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's real. Okay, that's all I have.
Tackles need some help.
Yep.
How much can the Cowboys get from DaRon Bland, and how do the Cowboys stop or slow down this Lions offense? We preview that side of the ball next on the Cowboys DLLS podcast. Friends, check out our buddies at Roback, RHOBACK, and with the code DLLS20, you get a discount. That's what we like to do, 20% off your first order. I think of Roback for myself as my golf gear, a little polo, the shorts, the pants.
You going golfing this weekend?
But I'm going golfing. I'm going golfing tomorrow morning. In Branson, Missouri, and I'll be rocking my Roback. You know why? Because I like to have the nice little kind of stretchy fit, but kind of the dry fit, the moisture wicking fabric.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
yes,
God.
performance polos and hoodies. The polos, the collars that never lose their shape. They got your solids, your classic stripes, your fun prints, all different things. Everyday shorts. They got everything you want at Roback. Roback.com. It's RHOBACK.com. DLLS20 is what you need to get a generous 20% off your first order. Make sure, check them out, and they will have you ready for whatever travels or activities you have. Also want to thank our friends at Blue Chew. Thank you for existing, is what I would like to say.
Can we go Pop?
That is the goal. Look at
Look at
Claire
Pop
getting
Pop. Sit up.
excited.
There you go, Pop.
You need to know about the code ALLCITY, ALLCITY. That is for a first month free. If you're asking yourself, does Blue Chew work? Well, if you're asking that, we want you to know they're putting their money where their mouth is by giving you that month free. All you have to do is pay $5 shipping if you use the code ALLCITY. Blue Chew, it's an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in a chewable form. It's simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready when an opportunity arises. BlueChew.com, promo code ALLCITY to receive that first month free.
All of our ads really go hand in hand together, because you can stay at home.
Yeah.
You can stay at home, order some Blue Chew, right?
And once you get it, you use the Blue Chew, and then on the Empire floor.
What you gonna do on the floor?
Real thugs get down on the floor.
Oh my God.
Or the carpet.
I
But wait, you can get tickets. You can take the Blue Chew, get tickets on Game Time, probably take a little, you know what I'm saying, to a concert or something like that.
Little shorty.
Wearing your Shady Rays.
Wear your Shady Rays and in your rollback shirt.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Come back to the tailgate, have a little sip if you got your rugged
Your Z-Biotic. Yeah,
take a
pre-alcohol.
Z-Biotics.
Yeah.
But then get you a couple drinks out of the cooler.
Yep. Oh, yes.
We got
The
the cooler.
Rugged Road cooler.
My God.
My God, what a day.
All I know is
That was really good.
regarding Blue Chew for you manly men, Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer, and he still used
Just wanted some help?
some help.
Something to get you some
He
confidence?
was already a Hall
Feel
of
good
Famer.
going in?
Still got some help.
That's what you're calling it? Some help?
Yes.
What are we talking about?
In the chat, I want to know which Cowboy is going to have the first sack against the Detroit Lions, if in fact they get one, and which Cowboy is going to have the first interception. That's what I want to know in the chat right now.
Okay.
Because we need to talk about the
Jordan Lewis.
You took my words right out of my mouth. Jordan Lewis.
I'm waiting for
Junkyard dog.
I'm waiting for Trayvon Diggs to make a play.
Junkyard dog Jordan Lewis.
Yeah.
Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Trayvon Diggs to make a play.
Okay.
So let's talk about the Cowboys when it comes to slowing down the Lions' offense, because I do think you're gonna want to. This is not going to surprise anybody. I'm not going to be here tomorrow for Cowboys win because Cowboys lose because, but I'm going to do an impromptu one for you right now. Cowboys win because PTB2. Dak goes back there. He says, "Here we go," and he gets the ball and he pats that bitch 2 times and he throws it all over the effing yard and you score more than 30 points. That is why the Cowboys win, because if you don't do that,
If it's the second half, we know it ain't going to CD.
Wow.
Don't do that.
if
Breakout
you
game.
don't score all the points,
Oh, my God.
you're probably going to take a big hot L, because I am terrified of the matchup of Cowboys defense and Lions offense, and I can give you all the different details, but if I'm open to positivity, and I feel like, Aisha, you do have some positivity on this.
You are the positive.
And so
queen of
I
the
just
show.
want you to talk to help us. Help me help him.
It's not a lot of help, but I can be honest with you. I mean, so everything that they do offensively starts with how good this offensive line is and what it allows them to do in both the run game and also in the pass game. For me, I mean, you look at Tyler Decker, this offensive line has only given up 7 sacks. However, they have given up a considerable amount of pressures, specifically from Decker. They have some things going on with Ragnow.
Ragnow, the center. He's back this week.
Ragnow. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
free
about
Ragnarok.
I'm thinking about Thor.
One of the best centers in football. He's back.
Right. But he is coming back. He came back from a pec. They've been trying to do some things with him. He's not 100%. I know he's not 100% because I watched him against the Seahawks, and the Seahawks defensive line. So like in every game that they struggled in, the team had a DT, a strong DT that could hold up double teams. It literally is the
couple of them, right?
It's literally the difference maker. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, you can get some pressure on the interior, but with this offensive line and how they operate, man, if you don't have a guy in the middle of your defense that can sit there and take on double teams and be a problem, that's giving them a problem. Vita Vea gave them some issues. I don't know his name, but 95 for the Seahawks gave them some issues. Like, they've had trouble with that. That's really your saving grace at this point, is if you can get your DTs to play stout, it'll make things easier for your linebackers to navigate. They're 45th in motion rate. So it's like we've seen what the Cowboys have done this last couple of weeks, right? Against the Giants, against the Steelers. Neither one of those offense is going to be doing a whole bunch of sprinkles and decorations at the line of scrimmage. How well do the Cowboys handle the motions, the shifts, the traps that they set also, too, when they bring their tight ends behind the formation? It's really they're going to have to play disciplined football. They've probably been in the film room a little bit more than normal this game. They got to be, because these guys have an answer for everything. They touch every side of the
Let's
field.
just start with the basic.
What?
You just called out Mozzie Smith. You drafted a guy in the first round to
Maybe.
be V to V.
Maybe I did.
You just said you
Maybe I
need a
did.
guy
Fighter.
in the middle of the defense to take on double teams,
Okay.
be stout, and get a push.
You're asking for, I'm asking
That's-
for something from your DTs.
No.
It ain't even got to be perfect because it wasn't perfect with the Seahawks.
We're
but they
talking
got
about,
pushed on the interior.
Right. We're talking about what they need to do to have success.
Yes.
And so I'm not saying it's going to do it, but that's what you're asking Mozzie to do.
Yes,
That's
I
what,
am.
That's what you're asking Linval Joseph, who had a nice rush.
He had to play.
He had to
Yeah,
play.
I'll play.
He had to play.
I'll
against
play.
the Steelers.
But he
That's
was-
what you're
Let me get
asking them to do, to be stout, to take on blockers, let those linebackers run to the ball. Those young linebackers like to run and hit.
But
1-3,
yeah, I mean, you can't.
35.
Yeah.
You want those guys to be able to run and hit to the ball, but you're calling out those two interior rushers. I think this is a game where you miss. I mean, the Cowboys have gotten away without having DeMarcus Lawrence and Michael Parsons the past 2 weeks. This is the game where they need them.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. I also think too, like you talk about their run game is so lethal that when they play action, it's believable. And a lot of the reason why it is because they're doing it under center. We need to bring back doing more play action from under center, but I'm not going to make a scene about it. But their play action rate is incredibly high, and they have success with that. Also, like I said, this defense being disciplined and trusting their eyes is going to be so important because these guys are trying to get you off kilter. And I know you've watched some film too, Jesse. What do you think about them?
I think you're head on. Shout out to my guy G from Jersey. He says, can we talk about Kendricks possibly missing the game and the importance? He did show up on the injury report yesterday with
Did
the
he?
calf
Yeah,
and shoulder.
Yeah,
So I heard that he was going to be okay,
Yeah.
but it is something to think
Yeah.
about.
The main thing when you look at what Detroit does is it starts in the trenches.
Yeah.
They are line movers. Okay. They recreate lines of scrimmage. And then the second thing that they do really well, and this is key, because when you talk about, we can talk about all we want about, receivers are very important to 20-plus yard runs, 15-plus yard runs, explosive runs. But you know who's even more important than that? It's your offensive lineman being able to get to the second level.
Facts.
And they get to the second level like nobody's business.
In a hurry.
And so now you're talking about recreating line of scrimmage. And then once I dominate that block, I'm on to the next level. And these backs, Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery, they got good vision. They got good contact balance. They are explosive. They finish runs. They hit those holes with force. And if you give them a seam, beep, especially Jahmyr Gibbs. I know that's your
He's a
guy.
home run
I know.
hitter.
Well, it's not your
Yeah,
guy.
he's-
But
Oh, he's great. I
You know
love
what
him.
I'm
I love him. I
But-
love fast running backs. So
he is a player. So I think the biggest thing for the Cowboys right now, they have gotten the last 2 weeks, their eyes and brains have gotten a break. Because when you look at what the Giants do, very bland, very straight up and down in what they do. When you look at what Pittsburgh, very bland, very straight up and down what they do. Not Ben Johnson.
No, Ben Johnson.
Shout out to my boy Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, fun fact, Ben Johnson was the backup quarterback when I was at the University of North Carolina.
Awesome.
He's a Tar Heel.
That's
He's a
great.
backup quarterback.
That's
there.
kind of cool.
Shout out to
Cheering.
my. Shout out to my. No, I'm not cheering for
So
him.
you cheering for
No,
him.
I'm not
he took
cheering
some
for him.
no-show classes too, huh?
Took what?
He took no-show classes too.
Why would you do that?
Well, he's a backup. He might have gone.
No,
think
you
he
know,
took no-show
you know
classes,
you know
right?
how GPAs work, right?
Yeah.
You know the overall GPA.
Yeah.
You know the white guys on the end of the bench you see in the basketball games.
Pull
Those,
that up a little
those
bit.
guys are the ones that taking all
Okay,
the
all right.
certified big time classes to pull that GPA up.
You know, the funny thing is, we haven't even talked about the receivers. We haven't talked about the passing game. We're talking about the running game, the offensive line, and they're as dynamic in the passing game as any team in the league. You know, and we talked earlier about Bland needing to play, and because to slow down those receivers. I mean, they're fast. You talk about Gibbs, that
Jameson.
Jamison is
Jameson Williams. Yeah.
that dude can run.
Yeah, he's healthy.
He's
and
healthy.
He's
He's
big
ready
play
to
machine.
go. Amon-Ra St Brown, great receiver. The tight end.
Laporta's a beast.
I mean, they got answers to the test.
Quick thing from our boy Kwame. Tell him something, Joe.
Oh.
From Mike McCarthy today, DaRon Bland will have a big test today to see if he can go. Eric Kendricks and Keelan Carson will be in the rehab group. So Carson was dealing with the shoulder. Kendrick dealing with the calf and the shoulder. So those guys are being in the rehab group. Thank you, Joe Hoyt.
Thank you.
Our someone here is doing some Cowboy beat reporting work.
Wow.
Nah, I'm just
Wow. We're doing this.
Yeah, Clarence want to do
We're
the show.
doing this.
Clarence wanna do the
should-
show.
We're doing this. We're doing this.
So you let him butter you up with that whole the best Cowboy reporter.
Yeah,
You
best
should've
beat
heard-
writer
I
on the
mean,
planet.
You should have heard what he said the other day.
Yeah,
but
best
yeah,
beat planet.
thank you. Tell him something, Joe. We appreciate you doing boots on the ground.
Do we really want Kalen Carson back?
Why wouldn't we?
I'd still take him over AO.
Really?
I think so.
He's been fine.
I think so.
He's been fine.
No, the guy that's been out there's been fine.
Who, AO?
Yes.
He's been all right.
He got interception, got some pass deflections.
Yeah,
I think he's pretty been
I mean, before he got interception, he was getting destroyed. But
Yeah.
he did have
destroyed.
Yeah, oh yeah. Boy, they were going back and
Destroyed.
forth with him and Booth like, nope.
No, they were not. They took Booth out, didn't put him back in. They were not going back and forth. Booth started, he got benched in the second half, and AO's been out there ever since. They weren't going back and forth. Booth
saw
has not
Booth
been
back
back
in that game.
Booth's
I think
bad.
Kalen Carson will be fine. In regard to Sam Laporta, you brought up Sam Laporta, and we're talking about their passing game. Kind of a down year to start for him, to be honest. He's only had 12 receptions on 14 targets. He has 147 yards, no TDs. They're using him on screens.
I think it's because Jamison Williams showed him.
Yes.
I mean, that's part of it, but also too, he did have a pretty serious injury last year. I think it was a hamstring that kept him out quite some time. I just wonder how he's acclimating back into the fold. Even with Amon-Ra St. Brown, they're predominantly working him in the slot. They used to work him on the outside. To your point, Jameis Williams is the reason why they've kind of have him doing some slot work. And to his standards, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he hasn't had, went off the way that he wants to go off. I feel like I think we mentioned the other week, like, this is the game. So people were saying, I think it was the Ravens game, this is the game you hire Zimmer for. This is the game you hire Zimmer for.
Quick little sidebar. With Amon-Ra St. Brown working a little bit more in the slot, can't wait to see him in
That's
Jordan
gonna
Lewis.
be.
Oh, listen.
I can't wait to see
Let's
him.
get ready
He said
to
Jordan talk
rumble.
reckless.
They've already been talking. Listen, like I tweeted yesterday, St. Brown plays for the Lions.
Yes.
Jordan Lewis is from Detroit.
I like it.
There's a difference.
I like it.
Detroit, and he had 2 picks last year in that game. I talked to him yesterday. Got a lot of family coming to the game. Any family that's Lions fans, they're not getting tickets. But it's gonna be a Detroit takeover. Detroit loves to travel. Got a lot of people coming in. But Jordan is a junkyard dog. You saw him last week. It was funny. I don't know if you saw the Michael Parsons and Diggs podcast, but they were laughing at Jordan because Jordan was going off with Pickens, and Diggs like, that's my guy. Why y'all fighting? I'm covering him up too. But Jordan fights everybody, and he does it in training camp. He's at a big training camp. He was very good in training camp. He is going to be fired up for this game again. He had 2 interceptions, not just easy interceptions. He jumped routes last year.
He jumped
Made
that
a
screen route.
Jumped that screen. He's a smart player. And talking about a guy who's coming off a serious foot injury, he wasn't even supposed to be back.
Mhm.
And everything about him, he's a tone setter for that defense. That's going to be a good matchup to watch.
I agree.
I just want to add 2 things.
What you
So I
got?
waited. I let it go because this is
Okay,
why.
host.
This is why I think this is the worst, maybe in the entire NFL matchup for the Cowboys defense. And why
Maybe that next team after
why
the
you had to
bye.
score 30? No, well, and both. They both are,
Yeah.
but
Very similar.
specifically because Jared Goff, when you can't get to him, is amazing.
Yeah,
25 consecutive completions.
Just
Jared
go ahead.
Goff, if you get near him, is bad.
Absolutely.
He is the biggest drop off in the entire NFL from clean to pressured. All your pressure players are out.
Right.
I agree.
So, like, you've got not only a Cowboys team that has struggled to tackle, that needs linebackers clean. You're playing an O-line that does a great job of getting to your linebackers with tackle-breaking running backs, with a quarterback who, when he's clean, is awesome, and you don't have your pressure players. You got to score 30. If this defense plays well and holds them to 17, 20 points, whatever, we're going to have a lot of people to put a lot of praise on because I don't know how they do it with how this thing matches up.
I think you do it with if you look at most of their sacks, they're cover sacks. You do it with your and that's why I say I think this is a Zimmer game in a sense of when you watch how the Lions play, they don't have a lot of long progressive plays. Like they go quick game a lot. They like to dictate tempo. So to me, I'm like Zimmer, I want you to disguise some looks. You know, the difference between Dan Quinn and Zimmer is like you gonna play cover 3, man, or you gonna do your job, whatever. I think that they can throw some different looks at him to trip him up. So when he's coming out that drop, maybe he's not seeing what he thought he saw before. Maybe do some things in that regard. The Bucs were able to they blitzed them on early downs. So you got to get these guys, because they got to answer on third and 5, sometimes 3rd and 10. If you get them in 4th down, they're gonna go for it. We got
to keep this. We got to keep their running game. That's
no. You got to stop the run.
If you're in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2,
of course, I think
that's where the biggest thing is going to come to play. You can only get after the quarterback and
tracking
really blitz
that.
him.
I mean, I think that
is
was
that if you can able to stop him early.
Assume.
I think while we downplay the Giants' offense and the Steelers' offense, I think Zimmer's scheme played a big role in the success they had against the Giants and Steelers, because the Giants went back and looked pretty good against Seattle. And the Steelers' quarterback made plays against other teams. So if this is a Zimmer game, he's showing signs that he can make some magic. He needs to make magic against Detroit.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I just noticed we don't have 100 likes on today's.
What?
Look how they treating us.
We will not speak again until there are 100 likes.
Or else.
And we And we got Michael in the chat, who appears to be a super chatting a Lions fan, or just a Cowboy. There are a lot of Cowboy fans that just love misery. The emergence of Williams is going to show. Like, what? That's a Cowboys podcast, man. I guess we just spent a lot of time on that. It's going to be a problem. Anyway, Mike McCarthy is tired of talking about running backs. So let's do it next on the Cowboys DLLS podcast. Also, I want to encourage everybody out there. There are a couple of things that you need to know and that you need to do. One, if you hit the like button and you subscribe on YouTube, we love that and we appreciate that. That's great. If you leave a comment, that's great for the algorithm. So leave your favorite fruit or vegetable and ice cream flavor and cheese.
What?
Leave all of those in the chat. It's good for the algorithm. We just need things to be in there. And also, we want to spread the word that you're watching right now, so you know about us on YouTube. But if you prefer things in an audio format, you're driving around, you're doing whatever, you're making something for dinner, you're doing the laundry, and you just want to listen, every show that we do gets uploaded to wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, I don't care. Wherever you go, it'll be there. So get subscribed there too, all right? And we want people to sign up to be a diehard.
Yes.
AllDLLS.com. You get so many hookups. What was that sound? You get so many hookups if you're a diehard.
You do.
I'm not saying it's the best part.
No, but I love this part.
My God.
But when you have your little carrying card,
Man, you get that card.
a little membership card that says I'm a diehard.
Card.
Card.
Who doesn't like to have? Do I have my wallet on?
Nah,
me?
don't do it.
Oh,
Who don't like
my
to have
God.
cards on them?
Don't do
You know,
it.
you want to have different cards. I got my ministry one right
Yeah,
here.
here we go.
Anybody wants to get married?
I want to get married.
I'll do that for you. A nominal fee. But yeah, people like to carry cards.
What's
What?
your favorite ice cream?
Strawberry.
What?
Yeah.
I knew you were.
Yeah, I love
a little
strawberry.
Cuckoo
Or
for
cookies and
Cocoa Puffs.
cream or, yeah.
What's your favorite ice cream, Jesse?
Oh, that's a good question.
Can I keep going with the read though?
Jeez.
Oh my
Bluebell-
goodness. Oh, I'm
Bluebell
so sorry.
homemade vanilla.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
that's
I
a
got
great ice
distracted.
cream. Yeah, we also you get a free T-shirt every year. You sign up to be a diehard. You get a free T-shirt every year. Our merch is badass. You get 20% off all merchandise, 20% off all events, access to our members-only Discord, our premium content on the website, all those different things. If you sign up to be a diehard, so do it.
Events are coming
Or
too
else.
in November.
Or else.
Or else.
Yeah.
Leave in the chat. What do you think I mean when I say or else?
The lunatic says, "Can you divorce me, Jeff?"
Oh my God, the lunatic.
I'll have to Google that, but if not, I'll figure out how. I'll be
For
happy
a
to do that
nominal
for you.
fee, he
Yeah.
sure can.
I don't think you can.
It's
I can
cheaper to
figure it
keep a lunatic. Cheaper to keep a.
No, you protect your mental health.
Don't
Get the hell
say
out of
that.
there.
It's cheaper to keep a lunatic.
Get out of there.
Oh my God.
Do it for the kids. They don't want to be
No.
around that toxic environment.
Kids need a stable home.
No, you could co-parent and be in a better place. If both of you are in a better place, it's
Cheaper to
better.
keep a lunatic.
So Clarence came in and he told us before the show, Mike McCarthy is tired of talking about running backs, but he also wrote something about Zeke. Was it today or yesterday?
Today.
And you said you talked to Dalvin Cook. So I was like, all right, so Mike McCarthy's sick of hearing about this stuff. And Clarence has got scoops on it. So, hey, Mike, strap in, buddy.
I
Let's
mean,
talk running backs.
I mean, we got layers to the whole running back situation. Listen, we love what Rico did, okay? And breakout game. Let's not act like it was Emmitt Smith. You know, let's not act like the
You
running
taking
game.
shots at my guy right now?
Let's not act like they still have gone 19 games since having a 100-yard rusher.
I got nervous, though.
The longest streak.
I got nervous because the day before the game, somebody
the-
asked me who's going to have the first 100-yard rushing game. I said they're not going to have one. He was at 80-something with like half the fourth quarter.
The longest streak in franchise history, the franchise of Tony Dorsett and Emmitt Smith and again the two-time rushing champ Zeke Elliott, 19 straight, Herschel Walker, all of them, Calvin Hill, Robert Newhouse, DeMarco Murray, all of that, and it still have. But Rico showed some positivity with the running game. They stuck with him, but he still has issues. That scoring run, or that lack of scoring run. Second down, a great game on the line, final seconds of the game, 2nd and 1 from the 1. Rico runs the wrong way.
So I think that was being a great teammate. I think Rico knew if I put this ball in the ground, Dak will fall on it.
Stop.
And then Dak will throw a game winner.
And be a hero.
And people could chill out.
No, why didn't you sneak it in the first place?
Well, this is about Rico.
Okay, let me keep it.
We've talked, he has vision problems, and he's still a work in progress. And he doesn't run to the right place. He was supposed to follow Zach Martin outside. He was supposed to follow Hunter Lemke outside. The play was designed to go outside. He inexplicably cut back left and jumped.
He did what all of us would do. He's like, it's so close. Can't I just dive?
Most running backs use some vision and some. I would have bounced it.
Okay.
Back in Schulenburg High
He got
School,
down to the 1. I did my job.
I would.
You know how I get down to the football field.
But
at the 1 yard line, I'm done.
But it's a question.
Find somebody else to complete this thing. I get down to the 1.
So really, the question to me, and I am not saying Zeke should play in front of Rico. Rico certainly has earned this crap. We don't need more carries from Zeke.
Here comes a butt.
But why is Zeke on the team if he's not going to be your red zone back? Why is Zeke on the team? He's not going to be your short yardage back. One thing we know Zeke can do is score a touchdown. He has a nose for the end zone. When you kept him out of training camp, when you kept him out of preseason, when you limited him in training camp, it was because we don't limit the wear and tear on his body because we know Zeke can score touchdowns. That's what he does. That's why you brought him here. Especially when a year ago you could not score from the 1, and you had problems scoring the red zone. Why was he not in on that play? So I asked Mike McCarthy.
Oh, I thought you wanted it. Okay, I thought you
Go
wanted
ahead.
an opinion.
You could answer.
We raising hands.
I have my answer.
You can have.
Do you think that Emmitt Smith had a nose for the end zone? Right? Emmitt Smith?
Yeah, sure.
LaDainian Tomlinson. These are the guys who scored the most rushing touchdowns ever. They had a nose for the end zone, too.
Yeah.
Would you put Emmitt in the game today? Would you put LaDainian Tomlinson in the game today?
At their current state?
Yeah, exactly as they are.
Without going to training camp?
Yeah, would you?
I'm sorry. I think it's a bad analogy. I hear what you're trying to say. You're trying to say
he
Zeke
is
old.
washed. He was washed.
He's not washed from the 1. That's not true. That is not true. You go up against him. You go against
I'm me.
Okay, but my point is you act like he's you. You acting like he can't, like he is not out there working out and running. He played last year. He led New England in rushing. He's not an invalid where he cannot run from the 1. The guy still is
saying
a
you
strong
led New
run.
England in rushing
Okay,
is like saying you're the tallest small person.
Don't jump on.
He led New England in rushing because Stevenson got hurt. Ramondre Stevenson was better than him all year.
Okay, we're not talking about between the 20s. We're talking about
what you're saying.
Why is he on the roster?
Right.
Why is he on the game day roster
You think he
if
should
you
be on
don't
the
have a
roster?
role for him?
You think he should be in this
The
roster?
question here is,
I'm asking you a question.
I didn't sign him to the roster.
I'm asking you.
I think that, Henry should be on the roster. Okay, that's what I think.
So your answer is no.
I think Henry should be on the roster. I think they should have afforded money to pay Henry, King Henry. That's what I think. That's my answer to the question. I think the kid in San Diego should be on with the rated Chargers. They should have went after him from Baltimore last year. The Ohio State.
J.K. Dobbins. Yeah,
J.K.
he's a
Dobbins.
baller.
I think a lot of people, but he's on the roster. So my point to McCarthy is, why do you not have a role for Zeke if he's on the game day? Not only on the active roster, but on the game day roster.
Right.
And he was terse with me yesterday.
He was terse?
Yes, he's like,
What's that mean?
we're good.
Lemon butt.
Lemon booty, yeah.
He was terse. He was like, the roles at running back will be the same against Detroit as it was last week.
So Zeke will exist to hang out?
And we asked Jared the same question. That's Jared the same question. Jared, you talked all camp about Zeke and, what you liked about him. And he said, well, the veteran running backs, it's a long season, why is he here if you're not going to use him? You can say whether he should be used or not, but if he's on the roster and you got him up on game day, why is he here?
Clarence, I tell you,
Why?
since you asked about Zeke, and we do like him, and we did and do and will, and we like Zeke a lot, we do. And I tell you, we signed him because we thought, you remember in March, spring break, and we don't work during spring break.
That's right.
Everybody else signs guys. We don't. We're on the boat, and we had a great vacation. It was good and lovely. We did a good time. Then everybody got mad at us because we hadn't signed anybody. And I realized that our jersey sales were down just a tick. And I thought if I brought back somebody they like, that we could slap that old college number on him, new number. You can't use your 21s anymore, and you'd have to get a 15, and they did and do. And you see them in the stadium, and it's a good time. Yeah, they signed a guy that they really liked, and they put a new number on him. And they sold jerseys.
That's fine, and that's Mike. That's Jerry. I'm talking about Mike. We talked about a training camp about using him. He talked about his dirty runs and all this other stuff. He's not doing it.
We were sold something that is not happening in real life.
No.
And looking on the other side of the football, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, but and listen, and that's fine if he can't play. But why is he on the game day roster? Why is he on the roster?
When
So
you're
then
posing the question, do you want him not to play?
No, I want him to be the short yardage back. I want him to be on the goal line.
Okay,
I know
that's
I think he can be. If he's going to be up, he should be your goal line back.
Okay,
That's what I think. I talked to Dalvin Cook, and of course, another side story. He's sitting there at the locker, and he said, he listened to Jerry this week on the radio. Didn't hear
y'all
nothing.
stop laughing, Jesse.
Did he waited for Tuesday?
Yeah, what did Jerry say on Tuesday? Is Dalvin playing this week?
No one. They didn't even ask him about it because Rico had the great
He's
game.
got a nose
No
for the
one
answer.
even asked him about it. He said, "Listen, man, I didn't hear nothing on the radio."
Y'all, that's not funny.
So it is, and he said, "But I'm still getting work with the first team. I've been out there with Dak. My time is coming." He said, "My time is coming." And the yin and the yang to it is, his time should come. If you're not going to use Zeke, use Dalvin. And I know whether you think they're both the same old guy, they're on your roster.
Right.
You have them here, use them.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Somebody
I just think
do
they built it in a flawed way. Like most guys, we talked about it before the show. Like most guys have their third and fourth running backs. They're 23 years old. And if you need somebody to come up, you might be like, holy crap, this guy can go. They decided we're just going to get guys that the rest of the league is done with that are way out of being good NFL running backs.
It's literally polar opposites when you look at the Detroit Lions and how they handled putting together their backfield. Like, everyone else is moving forward with getting, and we talked about this, every team has a guy. Like, even if you have a committee, one of the guys is a guy. This team said, oh, no, we want to have two guys. And you're on the other side of things just trying to figure things out. It's exhausting.
Thank you to all our friends who joined us today. Please hit the like and subscribe button on your way out. Shout out to Michael. He said, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan, just giving credit where it's due. Hung out with Clarence in Milwaukee for the Green Bay game. Keep up the good work. And he also said,
sorry, Michael.
Making friends.
Said Rico wasn't impressive. The run blocking scheme was. Hanging out with Clarence is fun.
No, it is.
Working with him.
It's funner.
Not a word. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through.
Go
So
to
be
the
cool to
library.
everybody. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingencies.
We all silly like the mayor.